Noah, what's with the big headset?
That's Coach Olson to you, Eric.
Ah, okay. We have Coach Olson with us because we're going to be breaking down some film, looking at the Browns Ravens game because a lot went wrong. And we wanted to talk about what exactly went wrong and show you a little bit of film. We really focused on the offensive side of the ball
Yeah.
because we both felt that's the biggest glaring hole right now watching this team.
Yeah, the offense, I feel like in its entirety has been the sore spot thus far this season. Special teams you can blame more so in week one, but even then, drop passes, weird concepts, poor line play. We're going to get into all of that today because it's very much on display against a team and a defense like the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So I think this film helps really tell the story of what's going on and why the Browns still can't get over 20 points and still can't win football games.
Well, I want to jump in and start with the very first series that the Browns had the ball because, frankly, we talked about it. Stefanski's normally pretty good at scripting that first series. They start with a pass. I think we talked about taking odds on that, and both thought they would start with a pass. Nice little gain there. Uh, and, you know, they were taking what was given early on. Nice curl route there. Um, because you had some soft coverage, they were taking away the long ball. And you'll see this as a theme throughout the entire day. But the biggest issue here is, and Noah jumps into it, is O line. As you mentioned, and we'll talk about in detail, there's no push. So right now you're behind the sticks once again. And then it just continues to go downhill. This is a recurring theme, and we're going to talk about it a lot. And you're going to see the design screen there. Obviously, it's a good call, but the missed block puts him off. And then Dewan Jones jumps here, offsides. So this is like exactly what we thought we would continue to see. What surprises me a little though is that they started off um there's no like explosive plays. They didn't really it was really conservative play calling even though they're throwing quite a bit here. Three keys for me in that first series. Stalled run, obviously no push. You'll talk about that. Conservative quick passes. I don't mind that with what the defense was presenting, but then when you get behind the sticks, you got to change it up. And then obviously protection lapses, especially on third down. You get in that third and long situation, you need a little time for it to develop. He didn't have the time.
Yeah, it's interesting too because this is a theme that we've seen through both games. One defense being very well, and obviously the Ravens. One defense being an NFL defense. They're considered an NFL defense. I don't know how else you could really describe that one. Where the main thing is taking away the big play, whether it be where they have the safety set up on defense. Um, that has hindered any type of big play, explosive play mentality for this team. And
Mhm.
I think the dinking and the dunking downfield works for the Cleveland Browns when the run game's working. And when you had Judkins in a limited role like he was last game, obviously not O line push happening, it's going to look pretty messy. It's going to look disastrous. Something that, unfortunately to me, that I think looks pretty disastrous right now is the play of one Joe Batonio. So we're looking at the left guard right here, number 75. Eric, you talked about it, man. Just no push. I mean, this guy is an all pro caliber and he's holding that guy on the line. It makes
Mhm.
it super easy for that defensive tackle or end or whoever's ending up to line in that gap to hold, read, and of course make the tackle like the defensive tackle did there.
Yeah, he looks like an inexperienced rookie there or an old man. Take your pick, I guess. We talked about coming into this season that there's a lot of experience on this offensive line, and we thought that was a positive. It seems like they're starting to show their age a little bit. What do you think?
Oh, 100%. And I feel kind of bad because Joel didn't practice during Wednesdays because he had a back issue. So I feel bad pointing this out while he's also going through an injury now. But the tape don't lie. The eye in the sky does not lie.
Right.
And there are multiple examples of this happening for Joel Batonio. I want to note, obviously, we're picking and prodding at certain plays. Obviously,
Mhm.
there are some good reps out there as well. But we're pulling out plays of consistent issues is what we're doing here. Instead of sitting down and having a 2 hour long video, we're using different highlights. Just wanted to put that one out there.
Well, too, you make a good point because almost every clip we pulled, Baltimore didn't need to stack the box or anything because they weren't worried about the run at all. For the most part, they were rushing four out all day and dropping into coverage. So it just goes to show too, like our guys couldn't get the blocks on the single, like their single assignment. It was just an awful day.
Yeah, and that gets me into one of the clips as well. This is a twist pickup. We're looking at Wyatt Teller and the right tackle Cornelius Lucas. They're supposed to rub off of each other. Wyatt Teller picks it up. I don't know if it was a lack of communication here, but Wyatt gets there super late. And again, we're talking about Wyatt Teller, a guy who has played at an all pro, Pro Bowl level before. And he just does not pick it up. I'm personally thinking maybe it was a lack of communication going on here. Cornelius Lucas is, of course, not the starting right tackle for the Cleveland Browns, but that also highlights another need of the Browns are really missing Jack Conklin, and it's already been 2 games. Is that
Yeah.
another sign of age? And Jack Conklin's a player that gets hurt a lot. I mean, he's had injury history beyond belief here in Cleveland. What do you think?
Yeah, they just look slow to me. I mean, anytime you're the O-line genius between the two of us, but anytime your blocker or your defender is going that way and you have a full length arm separation trying to like just claw at him as best you can, that's not going to bode well. And we saw that all day long. They're getting beat off their blocks. They were slow. None of it, they weren't getting to the second level at all. They looked awful as a unit as a whole.
Yeah, that's been the problem, man. And it's the run game, which is supposed to be this team's bread and butter. We're looking here. This is going to be a double team, I believe, between Cornelius and Wyatt Teller. It might be Posick and Teller. Let me let the play run real quick. Yes, we're looking at Cornelius and Teller right now, and they get no push together. The defensive and defensive tackle, it is the defensive tackle, excuse me, splits their double team perfectly and gets in on the play. You
He's in
have
the backfield
two
before anything can happen.
like this there needs to be better push. There needs to be better effort there. You're talking about again a guy that is considered to be an anchor of this offense in Wyatt Teller. I get that it's a backup tackle and that hinders some of the ability out there, but we
Yeah.
did sign Cornelius Lucas because he is supposed to be a solid backup swing tackle. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully this is something that Judkins being in that number 1 back role can help too.
Yeah.
Because he's not a speed guy. He's a bigger back that hits a powerful hole, and we saw it in some of the plays. I mean, he can help. Obviously, you need your O-line protection and blocking schemes, but he can help with this and open up that play action a little bit. I hope
I
because
hope so too.
if we're looking at a full season of this shit, it's gonna be a long season.
Yeah, and there is hope there with Judkins as well. I mean, 6 yards per carry. I think I said 7 on the
Yeah.
Monday show. I was giving him too much, so I apologize for that. He had 6 yards a carry though in this Ravens game and looked really good. And he is the type of back that helps when you don't have an offensive line succeeding because he can bounce off people and he likes to
Mhm.
run through what's the Marshawn Lynch quote? Run through an MFer's face or whatever. That's what Quinshawn Judkins likes to do. I got two more plays of the O line I want to touch on just because it's more bad habits and such that I've been seeing from this team. This is going to be an example of bad pass pro. Flacco is motioning, and there's so much motion going on in this offense. I feel like it takes forever for the ball to get snapped. We're actually looking at the backup tackle over here on the left. This was when they pulled Dewan Jones,
Right.
and I'm assuming he's supposed to take the end because you want to take the closest guy to the quarterback, and instead of taking the end, he tries to take the outside linebacker blitzing and gets beat both ways, and Joe Flacco has no time. Those are assignment problems, not skill problems. And to be a player at any level of football, you need to not have those mistakes. That one is very costly. You have to know your assignment. You have to be on your assignment right away.
I was gonna say, yeah, he knows his assignment. The fact that he sits there in the middle and lets 2 guys pass him, like,
And
It's
typically,
frustrating.
again, I don't know the exact zone scheme for the pass block that they're running here, but typically, when in doubt, you take the guy closest to the inside of the line because he's closest to the quarterback. Just simple
Yeah.
math it. And I feel like he overthought the play and missed not one but two blocks. Uh, a rough one indeed. And whatever happened with Dewan, plays like that make it make sense why they put Dewan back in. Whether it was he was out because of the heat for real, punishment, he was throwing up, whatever that was. Plays like that make sense why Big Thanos went back into the game.
But real quick, just to be fair, real quick to the backup that's in, because correct me if I'm wrong, but there was no one in the backfield on that play, right?
Right, but you know that as the quarterback,
No, no, for
typically.
sure. But if you have an offensive line that's struggling the entire game, I get it. There, it was probably 3rd and 12, and they needed as much as they could. But why not keep that back there to help pick up that coverage?
You're getting into the scheme of it and why are you in empty, which is a valid criticism to have, even if it's a block and release type of concept. Um, but even so, if it's a quick game type of thing and you know you might have a free runner running at the quarterback, um, actually, I want to pull the play up one more time because I just thought about something. I'm going to skip ahead real quick. I want to see what Joel does here, and I want to see what the left side of the
Also, it
line.
wasn't empty. He just okay.
I'm just watching one more time, looking at. So they are sliding right.
He
Technically, I
does get
think
the
this
ball
is
out, to be fair.
I technically think that now that I'm looking at this, I think it's more so Joel Batonio's fault actually because he crashes down on the end. I don't know if it's a complete slide there and Joel's supposed to help there or if Joel is supposed to take the first guy in and the tackle's supposed to take the second guy. The tackle still misses the block, but at least he was assignment sound and maybe that's on Joel, but I'm going to go with the benefit of the doubt that Joel Batonio is assignment sound on every play that he does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. What's your next clip?
One last clip. It's just this screen pass. I don't like the effort. Well, I don't mind the effort. I don't like how it plays out for Ethan Posick. I don't think he takes a good angle whatsoever here in terms of running at it. He runs flat down the line, which is typical, but
Was
I,
this the
I
one
just
in the
don't.
first series?
This is the one in the first series.
Okay.
I just wanted to look at it further
Yeah.
because I'm just not a fan of. I don't know how you can nitpick it truly because he's a big fella and he's running and he's getting there and he gets beat. Uh, but I just don't like what I saw out of that play whatsoever.
Was the back too far out though in that?
Let me pull it back up for you.
Because
I'm gonna go to the wide so it's easier.
like you said, he's getting out there. I guess he wasn't that wide, was he?
No, it looks honestly maybe it's more so just a play that just didn't work out, but it feels like I don't I get it because it's a big dude. It's Ethan Posick. He's got some meat on the bones. He's an offensive lineman, so being
Yeah.
like he needs to get there quicker. Well, bro might have been running as fast as he physically could, but we
No,
need
that's
a
fair.
guy that
Yeah.
could get there quicker still because of that exact situation. That's the problem. I want to shift gears so we can bring up some of your clips that you pulled as well and start talking about the quarterback and wide receivers, route concepts, all of that kind of thing. But I want to prop it up against one Dylan Gabriel who had a ball that landed nicely here in the end zone for a touchdown against obviously the Ravens backup. I know you had some thoughts on this too, as well, Eric.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice ball by Gabriel, don't get me wrong, but I think it's a little bit more of a blown coverage by Baltimore because this looks to be like a cover two shell. So you have the state safeties high and the corners are passing off the routes underneath, which is fine, but then you let a guy get past you for that touchdown, so they didn't cover properly. Um, it's a vertical clear out there. But what's nice here is that he finds that pocket, and there's also time. I know they're playing the secondary guys here at that point, but the pocket was clean for Gabriel. He makes a nice pass. It's a good play overall, but a bit of a blown coverage by Baltimore there.
Yeah, to an extent. I like where the ball is placed, especially because there were three defenders in the vicinity. That's what I think is most impressive about it. And what else I think is most impressive about Dylan Gabriel here is his time processing the game. Me and you
Yeah.
were talking before show, and even when we were at Slim and Jumbo's watching the game after our live show, about how slow Joe Flacco looks now. I mean, this is an example. It's actually a good play. It goes for a completion, but stepping back in the pocket, going through his process compared to Dylan Gabriel, he just looks slow, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he does. He doesn't look good, and he looks slow with his reads. He's made some bad throws. I gotta say, I'm kind of ready to see something different. I think that's a fool's errand, fool's gold kind of situation
For
because
sure.
I don't think you play Gabriel. I don't think you play Shador, but Flacco ain't it, man. Um, and it brings to question, there's some talk around the league about some guys and potential trades with some of the injuries going on. I don't think we're a part of those discussions at the moment, but we're in for a rough year. I got to say, I'm not feeling very positive after breaking down the film.
Yeah, and I know it's one game and it's Baltimore and we can see this weekend, but we're going up against a Green Bay Packers team that, for all intensive purposes, I think is playing the best football in the league on both
Hmm.
ends of the spectrum, whether it be offense or defense. So it's a tall task after you get blown out by a division rival to go up against, again, the hottest team in football. Eric, you got a couple clips. I got one more I want to sprinkle in here. Do you want to jump on one of yours?
Yeah, let's go to the number two one. So this is a miss by Flacco. Defense is in zone again with some man match elements. Safeties are deep, linebackers shading inside. Uh, but and it looks like they like a cover three disguised as a cover two here. But again, watching this play break down, my biggest question was the route design here. You have two guys running out routes 10 yards apart on the far side of the field. This
Top
just isn't
left,
a
you're talking right now,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. This just isn't a good play design. He has to force a ball there. Obviously, it's high, but um, again, Baltimore wasn't giving anything over the top. They stayed in that defensive scheme pretty much the entire game. They played a lot of zone, and Flacco didn't like all of the elements broke down. He doesn't have time to make a good throw. When he does, he doesn't make good throws a lot of the time. His reads are slow, like we just talked about. Like it goes to show that nobody's doing anybody favors on the offensive side of the ball.
And I think it's time to have a fair, critical conversation about Kevin Stefanski. I'm a Stefanski believer, and I still am, despite some of the blunders that we've had recently. I
Yeah.
do think he's the guy for the team, uh, just because of what I've seen out of him, whether it be winning seasons, coaches of the year, prior success with quarterbacks, success with quarterbacks that maybe he didn't deserve to have success with. But I feel like this game, and you're using that example of not liking the route concept on the left side of the field as an example. I feel like this game was not scripted the best. I feel like the amount of times I saw deep curl routes or just a little post to the out and just the same plays over and over again, the same route concepts. It's uh it's a little head scratching. And, Stefanski is known as a run first type of coach. And I know we couldn't get the run game going again, but you're not going to win a football game throwing 40 plus times with Joe Flacco. And I
No.
know we're getting blown out. And I know there's other factors in play as to why that number was so high again. But that number rang true for the Baltimore, or not the Baltimore game, for the Bengals game. And we were in that game the entire time.
We've talked about it before. He needs to be a game manager, make throws, move the ball downfield, but keep the defense off the field, and then the D's going to do its thing, which they did. They were hanging with Baltimore until it was blown open in the second half. The defense looked just fine, but when you're breathing heavy and you're on the field the entire time, there's not a lot that they were able to do. So yeah, I'm with you on exactly what you're saying. Go to three real quick as well. I use this one to illustrate. So Baltimore here, they were showing two high safeties. It looked like cover two shell to start, but they rotated out of that into cover one with a single high safety. So my issue here, though, is that our receivers are getting zero separation. He kind of forces a ball. He has a clean pocket. Um, really, it's on the receiver here. He should have caught this, and you might be able to argue that there was some pass interference here on this play. It does look like Baltimore's on him before the ball's there. But again, receiver dropping the ball, no separation, the rest of the field. Nobody is doing anybody any favors. If
No.
Flacco delivers the ball, the receiver's not catching it, or et cetera, et cetera. Like, but the lack of separation is really discouraging to me because this receiver core does not look very good.
No, it doesn't. I feel like there's a couple strokes of talent in there, whether it be Judy, Tillman, however you believe that to be. But overall, it's rough, and I feel like these are all things we knew before going into this season that we eventually need to get another wide receiver, and we eventually need more talent in that room, more high quality talent in that room.
But even Judy, he doesn't look great. The defenders are hanging with him. Go to clip 4 actually real quick. Because this is one of the better plays of the day. Defense rotating into cover 3 here. Judy makes a great he uses leverage and timing to create that window there and bring in that catch. And it's one of the better ones of the day. Uh, but um, he doesn't look great. The defenders are hanging with him. He did not get a lot of separation throughout the day that you would expect from your number one guy. Like they have him basically in single man coverage here. It's not. They just rotated late, but uh, and he makes a great play here, but we didn't see that most of the game, and that's one of my issues. So if you can't get it from him, and you don't need to draw another guy to defend him, that's not opening anybody else up either.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think the major problem is it isn't completely Jerry Judy, but when you can only need to focus on Jerry Judy, of course he's not going to be able to get open. And there's been discussions for a while now, even before we traded for him and signed him, if he would ever even be a number one guy or if he's better fit to be a number two type of wide receiver behind an even better player in terms of a perfect receiver core. So that doesn't help his case at all either. I do think he's talented, obviously best receiver on this team, but
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not. It just I don't know. Again, it's one game. I think we keep perspective here. I have one final critique, which is Joe Flacco here. This is the pick that he threw. So they're in tight man coverage on this play with single high safety help over the top, um, taking away that vertical, which kind of funnels the throw. But the protection breaks down. He has to scramble out of it. And what you see is a wide open Cedric Tillman. He waves his hand, which
mm,
probably would have gone for a touchdown. I'm not saying that's an easy throw. You'd have to throw across your body to get that. I know of two guys on the roster that might have made that throw, but Joe Flacco is not one of them. And he forces it into a window that just closes quickly, frankly. He looks open for a second, but it goes to show, too, we talked about Flacco looking slow. He's not throwing his guys open either. And I don't really blame him here because he's not a scramble and throw kind of guy. Uh, but again, it looks bad. It's not the play we expected.
and not to mention Joe Flacco, who has had his time in the league, been around the block about 4 or 5 times, in fact, at this point, throws a ball that at his level of quarterback, you just should know better, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like you knew being on the run, throwing it where you did, it was a risky ball. Why are we throwing this when you need to be a settled down game manager who just throws the easy pass or throws it away? You are already out of the busted pocket. I don't think the smart decision was just to dump it out of bounds, period, instead of
Mhm.
trying to force something that wasn't there. And I know he's owned up to it in the media already and said, you know, that's my fault. That was a dumb read. That's a play I know I cannot or should not go for anymore.
Yeah, and he knows that. It's not we're not here to bust anybody's balls, It's just what we expect from the veteran is to see that defender camping there ready to jump that route. I know he's scrambling for his life and, again, he's not a scrambler, but he should know better. Absolutely. And you're trying to force something there into a window that was always going to close and the result is exactly what you would expect.
We have one. I have one last clip, which is just hitting on the point of Joe not being a scrambler. He gets ample time here. You can do the one Mississippi, two Mississippi. Oh wait, that is the wrong clip. I
I'm
apologize.
like,
He
that's a
does the
good he looks good there.
no. That was the slow processing clip I used. This is the clip I meant to play. It's Joe Flacco. He has enough time in the pocket, honestly, and still doesn't step up, isn't moving. He's a statue. That's
Yeah.
been what we've been calling him on social media, but that's what he is. He can't move. He's not mobile, and I think that's what excites some Browns fans. Even if you weren't in the Dylan Gabriel camp, or you're not in the Shador camp, or hell, even maybe the Kenny Pickett camp, if we want to look back at that now. Uh,
Yeah.
is the fact that there's some ability for that at least in there. Are they the best? I mean, Shador and Gabriel, we have no idea what they are, but at least the ability is there to, scramble up and get a couple yards on that play instead of taking a sack or trying to throw the ball away like Joe did there.
So looking at that play initially, like I see Cornelius Lucas getting beat, but Joe had time. He needs to step up, like you're saying. And also, I don't completely put it on Joe there just because what does down the field look like? We didn't have a great camera angle on that close up shot, but I'm guessing once again, there was very little separation.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is at all on Flacco, but to have the ability here to step up and take that lane and just get a couple yards off of it. I mean, if you do the counting, I'll do the counting for you real quick. One Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi, four. I mean, he has
And you
ample
were even
time to
slow
throw.
with it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
And you
have
know what?
ample time to throw the ball in terms of what you expect for an NFL pocket to feel like.
And I wanna give credit back to Lucas because he actually did look just fine there. Watching it a couple more times, yeah, it's his man getting, that's beating him there, but that's plenty of time, like you're saying. Oh, man.
I
I
would
don't know where we
honestly,
go.
if we're nitpicking real quick, I'd rather him set back straight and keep his shoulders square because you would have been able to run the defender up the field a little bit more. But I mean, you've given him ample time, so you can only nitpick so much.
Right.
So, you got anything else on this game, man? It's a frustrating one. We're gonna obviously turn the page and look to Green Bay tomorrow in tomorrow's episode. Um, but yeah, I'm glad we sat down honestly and was able to process some of this information and put it out there in terms of what's going wrong with this Cleveland Browns team right now. And I don't know if there's answers on this roster to fix some of them, but at least there's a why or who, what, when, where, how, or whatever that saying is for the questions and whatnot.
The only thing that I will add, we talked the other day about how I kinda moved on from the Guardians because it's football season.
Yeah.
I'm back, baby. They beat they beat Detroit again last night, which moves them even closer to not just the wild card, but the division. Because every game counts as like double when you're obviously playing the one leading you. So you know what? Maybe we should do a breakdown of that next time because this is just sad.
Oh, well, I don't trust in my ability to break down any type of baseball film, but I will leave that to you because you've played baseball. I am just a fan and a man with some takes at the end of the day when it comes to that sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't actually want to do that, but
I know.
it's more in just that doing this episode tonight, I love it. I love the show that we do together, but I'm kind of depressed thinking about the Browns now. Like I need a palate cleanser after this.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe we should grab some tickets and go to the Guardians game instead of rotting away in the Muni lot, which we're going to do. Wink, wink.
We are. So we'll be live from uni this Sunday. Make sure that you come out and say hello because, first of all, we have some giveaways. Noah's going to touch on a bigger giveaway in a second, but it's also the last chance that you're going to catch us at Muni for a little while. We're going to take a break from some lives just for a minute. So come say hi. We'll be at the front of Muni lot at the kennel. That's the big bus with the face mask on the front of it. Have a drink with us. Say hi. Come give your score prediction live on air. It's going to be a good time. Tell them about the other giveaway.
Yeah, and the other giveaway, the main giveaway we're doing on the page, all you got to do, subscribe and leave a comment here on at the office on YouTube, and you'll be entered to win a Browns jersey of any player of your choice. And we will get it in your size, ship it to your door. You can take a picture in it and tell us thank you if you want. But yeah, free jersey. All you got to do, subscribe and leave a comment. So please subscribe, leave a comment.
Jump on that for sure. I'm excited to see you at Muni. The debate never ends, but the show does for now. We'll see you next time.